How we doing, traders, and welcome back to Stock Market Movers, where we cover the headlines and of course get you guys to the expert opinion to keep you guys in the informational edge. That's what this show's all about. I hope you guys are ready to go ahead and dive on in. Today we'll be covering topics of CPE, jobless claims, Chicago PMI. We'll take a look at Constellation Brands. We'll take a look also at the earnings from Walgreens. We'll talk about the Save saga, of course. Spirit Airlines still in that battle there. PFE, Pfizer, we'll take a look at that. Healthcare, how are those stocks doing? Biotech has been strong lately. We'll see if that continued here. Of course, also news out there on NKLA. Yes, I said it, NKLA. We'll take a look there. BKKT also definitely on watch. We'll see what's going on out there and get you guys into this market. Like always, smash the like. We got a great one for you. We also got guest today, Option Mike, founder of smartoptiontrading.com, and an interview with Bakkt Holding CEO Gavin Michael. Excited to get into that. That's New York Stock Exchange, BKKT. We'll get all into it right here on Money Mitch.
It's time for Money Making Mitch. When investors need a story, we're going to the moon. Welcome to Money Mitch, where story is everything. I'm here to find you the next opportunity. It's all about the green hands. Now we all know the bull market is here to stay. Money Mitch.
What's going on, traders? It looks like we only got like 40 of you guys. Let me know if you guys came over from Benzinga Live, or there it is. There's the jump I wanted to see there. Let me know if you guys came over from AB, and if you guys have been watching, my man AB do his thing on Benzinga Live. I want to know how that's been going, and if you guys are enjoying that, how's it going? We'll talk a little bit about stock market movers, but definitely, there it is. There's the jump I was looking for. Smash the thumbs on up. Now I'm seeing the audience come on in. So now I can go ahead and dive into our topics on the day. You'll see them down below as I always like to put them up. Let's start going into some of these topics. But before we get into that, of course, we got to get into our economical data. We'll touch that right now. But I want to take a quick look at where the SPY is right now to compare it where we get to during the closing of this show. So let's take a quick look at the SPY and see what we see here. All right, so if you see on the SPY, we're starting to turn around there around the 380s. I was watching around the 379 level if we could get back on up there, trying to kind of close up kind of where we came down from. One thing that we definitely saw is around that 10 a.m. right after that, we started getting a bounce. We talk about this constantly on live trading, how you get a lot of times those bounces coming in towards that 10 a.m. time. I always say this a lot, probably having to do with washing out some retail traders at the open, and then you start seeing some of the kind of the more advanced traders really take all over. This is why a lot of times you'll see some traders stay out of the market for the first 30 minutes, then jump on in after they're seeing some action and can determine some levels. As you guys can see, SPY topping out here. Let's take a look at the daily chart. You can see we're still red on the day. We're going to look to see if we end green. Do we start heading down towards the 363s? A lot of concern on out there. Of course, yesterday we did get comments about potentially 75 basis points. And, we're going to have to keep an eye out on what happens here. We did get some economical data today, so we can talk a little bit about that. The core personal consumption expenditures, CPE here coming in rose 4.7 from a year ago and 0.2 percentage point less than the previous month. And if you take a look at the core PCE, which excludes volatile food and energy, it increased 0.3, slightly less than the 0.4, the Dow Jones estimate. Headline inflation, however, shot higher, raising about 0.6 for the month, much faster than the 0.2 gain in April. That kept year-over-year inflation at 6.3, the same as in April, and down slightly from March, 6.6. If you take a look there, you also start seeing that in personal income, it rose 0.5 in May, ahead of the 0.4 estimate. Income after taxes and other charges or disposable personal income, though, declined 0.1 on the month and 3.3% from a year ago. We also got some more economical data to come out from the Chicago PMI. If you guys don't know what the Chicago PMI is, it's all about tracking the business activity in kind of, you're looking at the manufacturing sector in the Chicago region. It did track coming in at 56, slightly below the street account estimate of 58.3. I think that what you really need to look at this number is focusing on a reading above indicates expansion of the manufacturing sector, a reading above 50. And anything below that is going to indicate a contraction. This is something that we're going to keep on watching to see if we're really heading towards that ugly R word, the recession. Of course, it's something to keep on watch. Might not be something that's on everybody's radar, but definitely some economical data that came on in. Something we got to continue to watch to see if, we continue to see some kind of weaknessing showing up in manufacturing. Of course, inflation numbers are definitely on a lot of people's radar. Everyone kind of follows CPI, but something to keep on watch. We got some more data coming in today and not really showing signs of any topping, at least in my eyes, inflation, even though we are seeing some commodities take a hit, oil take a hit. But of course, a lot of this came during the back end of the month. So I don't know if we'll even see that show up in CPI in July, but something definitely to keep in mind. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get into some stocks out there. What was hot and what was not today? I think we'd love to do this because it really keeps us with the sector rotation. And yes, I think sector rotation is something definitely to keep on watch, sector to industry analysis. I know if you guys were probably watching Mad Money, I know that some people watch Jim Cramer. He wanted to poo-poo on this kind of outlook, but this is what I think really gives traders edge if you're able to follow and stay with the rotation. And of course, we're not going to be able to be ahead of the rotation, but we can definitely react to rotations. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at what was strong today from the open. This is why I pay attention to the percent change from the open. You guys can see utilities leading us up there, up about 1.08% on the overall day. And what was leading up here? So you could take a look at regulated electric. Some of these names, of course, like Duke, NEE, not having a bad day, bouncing back there after a tough 2 weeks. You could take a look at Southern Company, Xcel Energy, XEL. Xcel Energy is not a bad one to keep on watch. Even a stock that almost went bankrupt, PCG, even catching a little bit of a bounce. This is one maybe to keep on your radar. We'll see if this one can actually start moving. A lot of these are a little bit hard to trade because they don't move too often. But one thing that is to happen is the trends, right? And we're going to watch to see if Duke can hold that support, continue on through, get back there towards the 112 and continue pushing. This is why you got to be careful when you get those 2 weeks of something decline, because holding through it and declining through there, yeah, that's an easy way to kind of start losing some money. And then you're not able to actually come back into the name when it's starting to get strong again. So one of the things that I would have watched is on the 200-day, you can see this purple line here. When we broke that, hopefully if I was into the trade here, let's say around the 110s and I got rid of it there, it's going into this bearish tape. And then I can get back into the name when it comes back above the 200-day, showing me that it's holding the pullbacks there and giving me an opportunity to come back into the name versus holding a bag. Not saying that this is exactly how to attack every stock, but like always, have your ability to get on out and know where you'd get back into stocks could definitely help, especially in a zero commission environment where you're not paying to get out of the trade, right? So it's better to get maybe out than get the hurting. I know a lot of people probably kind of got stuck in that 100 move, and then when you broke through 100, probably sold on out. Now you're watching Duke come back. Happens often, and I can't blame you for kind of trying to get around that and just always having your out plan. All right, let's keep going. We could take a look at some other areas, but what was weak today? You can see here consumer cyclical, basic materials, and technology slightly down on the day. You also see industrials bounce back today. Pretty good day for those. Let's take a look at what was doing well there. It looks like aerospace and defense was doing well. I was mainly seeing defense names like Lockheed Martin doing well, RTX having a good day there. You can also keep watch NOC. This one has continued to make a nice lift today. So where are we seeing the relative strength, at least for right now? I'm seeing that a lot in these industrial names, aerospace and defense. Where else did we see them? You got some construction stocks making a little bit of a move up. These aren't the names that I watch, on a daily basis, but something to keep on watch is something like this. PWR, it is have nice little setup. Doesn't look too bad if it can get back above 130 and really hold there. But you can take a look at some other names too. I did see names like DE bouncing back today. Let's take a look at the intraday chart. You can see how that was bouncing back. But the question is, will these industrials kind of continue its lift? I just don't see it right now, especially with a lot of that R word on out there. But even real estate finding a little bit of a bounce today. Didn't expect to see that with mentions of Restoration Hardware. We'll get into Restoration Hardware just coming up. All right, in about a minute, we're going to get into our first interview. Like always, we want to go towards the experts. And what it's all about is that, I can go ahead and point to what I see moving, but we want to go ahead and get the opinions of other traders and experts out there. One thing to mention, though, today is you did see Grayscale sued the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission after regulators turned down its bid to convert investment vehicle into an ETF, exchange-traded fund. And you guys can see here, I just think they're just trying to fight back anything with Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin has just been kind of a world of pain right now. And I think it's going to continue seeing worries coming out. I'll touch a little bit on a topic later with Coinbase, but there's just, to me, continued worries about cryptocurrency. I've talked about it. I'm waving the red flag in this sector right now, or this asset class, if you want to call it that. But really, it's something to concern. I don't think it's turning around anytime soon. We are in what's called a crypto winter. So I don't see this turning around. And if you really take a look at crypto, you'll see a lot of 4-year cycles. So in my eyes, we still got ways to go here. And definitely Grayscale trying to get that ETF out. But we're going to have to keep battling the SEC. We'll see what happens there. Let's continue into our first interview today. Let's go ahead. Let's dive on in with none other than, you guys might know this guy. I've seen him on a little bit, a time or two on Benzinga. My man, Option Mike, or you guys can call him the founder of smartoptionstrading.com. And I'll tell you one thing. He's in the action every day, posting up some great comments on Twitter. So if you guys don't follow him, definitely check him out at Option Mike. Let's bring him on here. How we doing, Option Mike?
Mitch, man, long time. How you doing?
Hey, not too bad. Hanging on in there. It's a tough environment this year. Definitely one of those years where I'm more on the pressing the brake side than pressing the gas pedal. But I'm sure you're doing the same. I mean, it's a tough environment out there.
Honestly, this week I'm green, but not by much, and just haven't traded much. I finally caught a nice trade today. After 4 tries, I finally caught something big, but it's tough because you get in and it comes back and stops you out, and then it goes, and then you just sit there and you want to kick yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So, it just seems to take forever to find that trade, or it's just tough trading environment.
Yeah, patterns not holding well. I don't know if you've been seeing that option, Mike. I've been seeing a lot of patterns. Yeah, they'll set up, but no continuation in these patterns. And it's hard when we're having that where patterns don't really fit. As technical analysis, that's what we're looking for, right? We're trying to find some patterns to jump on. What are you seeing out there?
This is not a technical market, so to speak, right?
Exactly, right.
Always come in, but this market's really more about the macro that's going on in the world right now, and the macro is just bad all around in the world, and that's causing us big problems here in the markets themselves. To your point on crypto, I don't think this is even close to over because not enough funds have blown up yet. You had 3 arrows, the first one, now they're being liquidated, but until more of these guys get blown out, and even in the markets, until you see more funds blowing up, this is probably not over. And, I see so many people wanting to call bottoms. In a market like this, a bottom is going to present itself. And we got used to the last 5-6 years of these big V bottoms, right? We come down, then we rally so fast, you never even have a chance to get in. I wouldn't worry about that here. I don't see that happening here. I see this as a very slow bottoming process that will eventually present itself in this market.
You just pointed to two words there that we've heard now from different experts here, and that's a bottoming process, right? It's not just that whole thing where, what we got in the past in the pandemic, where it was just like in 1 week we went down and 1 week we went right back up. That's not what we're seeing in this market. I can relate it to a lot of what I've heard about the .com era. I didn't get to trade that era, but I've heard a lot of kind of the deaths by 1,000 cuts. It was just bang, 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 just kept coming down, kept coming down. I don't know. Were you able to trade that era option?
I was just starting to get in after the financial crisis, so I wasn't really trading in the .com. I started trading right as the financial crisis ended.
Okay.
So that's when I first started getting involved.
All right, so let's go ahead. Let's dive on in a little bit more about, of course, what are we seeing out there right now? How do you see the market today? And is there any areas where you see some strength coming back?
So I think when you're looking at the market today, we had the PCE numbers were better than expected. Let's put it this way, they weren't hot, which was great. Core PCE was even a little bit better. So maybe signs that inflation maybe starting to maybe slowly top out would be a good way to look at it. But we went down anyway. But something to be said here. We're going into a holiday weekend. I said this on Juneteenth, going into that holiday weekend, nobody's going to want to be short. And sure enough, probably nobody wants to be short into a holiday weekend because any news comes out and you're caught for 3 days. So I suspect what you're seeing today is a little bit of short covering. If you notice, the rally down, the move down was on big volume this morning, and the move up's been on pretty low volume. And it's really just the algos just decided to pull us back up. And to me, the first test becomes the SPY 8-day, which we just missed a little while ago. And I still think that this market can rally over the next couple of days. By the way, somebody pointed out in my room, and it wasn't me. I have to can't take credit for it, but I think one of my members, Chris, said that tomorrow is like one of the second most bullish day in the markets. That July 1st, historically, like 85% of the time is up big for what it's worth. That end day, $5 will get you a latte. So just, keep that in the back of your head.
I can use one of those lattes, but I could also use an update too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, some people have referred to that as the July 4th rally, right? I mean, I've heard that being mentioned before. So something definitely to keep on our radars.
And there's no volume.
Yeah.
The big traders will be gone. They're gone for the week. They're already out. So it's easy for the algos to squeeze.
Exactly, right? And that's probably what's going to be left on, right? Yeah. You get the big traders to go on vacation, but the computers don't sleep, right?
Exactly.
Something that we'll definitely be watching is algorithmic volume. Do we get a little bit of an increase going into tomorrow? Of course, window dressing also going on right now, end of the month. One thing that I wanted to ask you, because you definitely see the action on out there more than I do, is there any strategy in options that's potentially working better than others in this environment?
Selling calls against your stock positions has been very, very profitable for the last 6 months. We're going to close out the worst 6-month period in the markets for 50 years to start the year today. So that's been working. But I mean, the one thing I could tell you on the flow today, the flow has been heavily bearish. And I don't mean just a little bit. Like the big order flow, the money order flow has been bearish. We saw SPY August 357 puts 12,001 strike, $10 million. And these were swept. Now they're tied to something. There's no doubt that's somebody big fund coming in, protection maybe rolling, but we've seen a lot of action like that continues here in the market. This afternoon and late morning, the flow turned a little bit more short-term bullish, which means into tomorrow's expiration. But the big money remains on the longer-term side, remains bearish. And that tells me that, the big fund managers aren't ready to buy this market yet. So selling calls against your positions are good. Using bounces to get short. Don't just try to short into the hole. And that's what a lot of people make the mistake of. Like today, there was no real easy place to short. We gapped down, we dropped hard, and then we kind of grinded down for about a half an hour before we suddenly decided to bottom. And it happens. There doesn't seem to be a rhyme or reason. We bottomed, by the way, on the natural gas numbers because we had a huge build. That was the bottom today.
They just seem to keep on watch there. One thing that I've heard often is, of course, kind of like the put to call ratio or put to call parity. How do you see that right now in the market? I know you're stating already that you're seeing more of the majority towards the downside, but tell us about that and what should we keep our eyes on?
Well, I use that every day. It's one of my sentiment indicators. I go over with my members every morning. We look at the put to call. Yesterday, it had spiked hard deep into the bearish zone. And what I use that as a contrarian indicator. When you get very bearish, typically you look for a reversal. It's a smackdown, right? It's the same time if you get too bullish, the market gets leaning to one way. They tend to come in and smack it down. The problem this year has become, and I don't have the chart up, but I could, that the big change this year has been for the last couple of years, we were stuck with a very bullish sentiment, meaning we were always seen to be heavily bullish biased. For this year now, we've been stuck heavily bearish biased, and that's been a change in character in the markets. So yeah, coming into here, we're leaning very, very bearish in this market. You would normally look for some type of sentiment flush, but we just haven't been getting it yet. And what I mean by that, a big rally to knock some of this bearish sentiment out. But so far, the bears seem to be very much in control. They seem to be very, very comfortable sitting in this market so far. They're not afraid. And, I look at the market, I don't see big buyers coming in. We haven't seen that yet. So, instead of seeing these big put orders, I would be looking for some big, way out in time, aggressive call buyers. And we're just not seeing them, not in individual names and not in the indexes themselves. They're just not there yet.
Now, one of the things that we definitely have seen is a heightened volatile time. Just for traders on out there, how can they really get around the volatility by maybe using some option strategies?
Mitch, it's a tough environment for everybody. There's no real good strategies that are working in this. You can do some spreads to try to mitigate your risk so you can sit in stuff longer so you don't get taken out. And it helps to offset the decay that's going on in the options, right? So you can do a call spread or a put spread, depending on which way you're leaning to try to mitigate your decay and be able to sit in the trade longer. But the truth is what trading we've seen this week for the most part, it's been very, very difficult to trade. Just, there's no momentum. It's this, you get down and then you pop back up to make sure you make everybody uncomfortable, knock them out, and then you push back down. And, it's this very whippy, choppy action. And I mean, yesterday we traded in a $4 range and went nowhere on the S&P 500. That was insane.
Definitely insane, and it's hard to not get chopped up in that kind of action, right? I mean, any trader, right? I mean, one of the things we're looking for is those breakouts or breakdowns, and it just seems like we're just not getting continuation and a lot more fake outs, right? Now, one thing I did want to do is give you an opportunity. If there's any charts you want to maybe show us, we can definitely take a look.
Sure.
Anything that you're seeing on out there that stands out to you, you got the floor.
All right, so this is the SPY, guys, and I went over this the other day, but I'll go over it again because it bears repeating. Here's your 8-day, this gold line. We're right into it here. I still think that there is an opportunity for this market, maybe through next week, to rally on up and fill this upper gap and then see what happens. And that would not be a very hard move, and we could do that very quickly up into this 401 area, and that's where your 50 days at. That would be my target if we rally. Today we're up. I would look for a rally tomorrow. Maybe we get up to the 21-day tomorrow if we have a really nice slow grind up day. That's roughly up here in the 386 area. And then if we can clear 390 with some volume, we can get up into that gap. So I would keep an eye on that. To the downside, we have a gap sitting down here unfilled. This is where we trapped shorts a couple Fridays ago. And that would be my next target if we push down to fill that and then to see where we go from there. For this week, names that have been showing the strength have been the big tech names. So Microsoft yesterday pushed, we pushed to the 50-day, had a big, strong day, not as strong today. And that was the change that took place here. We had big strength in the big tech names like Microsoft yesterday and Amazon. These names are not leading today. Now they're way off their lows, and look at the size of the tail on this, but look how strong it was yesterday when the market wasn't going anywhere. And then look at today. So the problem with this market, it remains very minute to minute, day by day. And you just cannot just say, I'm going to sit in this and it's going to come back. The other thing going on to me is the inflation trade seems to be gone for now. And, we've seen energy just completely roll over this sector.
Yeah.
And it's not finding its strength back here. The materials like steel and copper have all completely rolled over here, and they're getting oversold, but that trade is gone for now. And bonds are making a comeback. And this is something to watch as TLT is back to the 50-day here, kind of breaking out of this range. And, everybody's like, why aren't we rallying with, bonds going up? Because we rallied with bonds the last couple of times because it was an oversold bounce. I think you're seeing a flight to safety here. And I think that's the change that's taking place in this market. After bonds have been beaten to hell this year, I think you're seeing a move into it as a flight to safety instead of saying, oh, we're just rallying off the lows and some short covering. You're seeing investors going in there saying, we're going to take this higher yield and we're going to sit in here because it's a place of safety and I don't want to deploy money into the market.
I think that's awesome what you just said. It's something definitely to keep an eye out, right? In that relationship between bonds and equities. We always hear about that bonds is kind of like that safe place to go
Yep.
when the equities are going down, and it wasn't there for a while. Maybe that relationship is starting to come back into place. Also, one thing to keep in mind, you're pointing there, the energy prices coming on down. That could potentially help us with the inflation, right? And really
Yep.
helping us start seeing a topping. So they always say price leads. So we'll see what happens with that. Definitely wanted to go ahead and thank you for joining us today, Option Mike. And where else could people follow you? I know smartoptiontrading.com and of course on Twitter, Options Mike. But is there anywhere else they should kind of keep watch on?
I mean, those are it. I post a video once in a while on my YouTube channel, but if you follow me on Twitter, you'll get a link to it and you can subscribe. The next time I hit it, I'll be putting a video out tomorrow night for everybody.
There you go. Look out for that video tomorrow night. Thank you, like always, Option Mike. We'll have you back on. And like always, man, coming in with the fire. I love that last little bit there about inflation there on the bonds. It's something that I'm going to keep an eye out. So I appreciate you bringing it to the audience.
Thanks for having me on, Mitch. Have a good one.
All right, guys, there we go. We're going to continue here with the headlines, but we had our first expert on today, Option Mike. And I'll tell you guys, definitely check him out on Twitter. I always watch what he's posting. A lot of times, first thing in the morning, he's posting a good kind of little summary about the action out there. And I always catch that. Let's go ahead. Let's continue going. Let's take a look at some of the other headlines on out there. A little bit later, we'll be getting into an interview with, of course, Gavin Michael, Bakkt Holdings, BKKT. I know a lot of people want to go ahead and find out an update. We'll try to get you guys that update right here on Benzinga. All right, let's keep going. Let's get into some other headlines on out there. What do we see moving? And where do we see things kind of getting a little bit of a lift? Let's go to a little bit of the earnings here. Let's go to Constellation Brands and see how that performed today. So STZ, of course, looks like the beer is not flowing today, but some sideways action here. Constellation Brands beat the estimated earnings here, reporting an EPS of $2.66 versus an estimate of $2.53. Revenue was up $336 million from the same period last year, but definitely declining on that. And you take a look here at the daily, you just rejected to kind of get through a nice level for the upside approach. So with that being said, I'm going to actually start looking for this one to kind of really start breaking down. You could see here, even on the monthly, you were trying to get back on up there. It looks like kind of you had an inverse head and shoulders here. You started pushing on up. You can kind of maybe look at this if you wanted to as kind of a cup and handle pattern here, trying to get through. But really, I mean, if it really starts breaking back down here, if we can get below the 214s, this could really start crashing back down towards those pandemic lows. Didn't like the action that we saw today. Definitely showing some downside continuation, filling in some of these gap zones here. Now I just got to keep watch. I'd be looking for some bounce back, trying to get back up to maybe around the 240s and then see a continued flush side in Constellation Brands. And for this being mentioned, let's take a look at another one like Sam. I mean, Boston Beer also coming on down here. Boston Beer was at one point all the way up there towards 1,300 and is now a $300 stock. And it's actually trying to take out the pandemic lows there. Pandemic lows were at like 300. We're getting on down there. You could see 299, 290s. We're about to break through that. So doesn't look like the beer is flowing strong, at least out there right now. We'll see what happens. It's just a tough environment. One of the things also to keep on mind is what's going on here, right? We had for a while there was a hype on seltzers for a while there. It was all about the Trulies and kind of the different kind of seltzers that were coming out. And now there's like 5, 6, 7 options. Even Budweiser has a seltzer. And this can happen when there's kind of like a hype in one certain area. Then all of a sudden the hype keeps going. But what happens, right? It's the bell curve, right? There's the early majority, there's the late, And then, of course, there's the backside of the wave. And I think what you're seeing here is the backside of the wave really come through and flush on through. Another one that I don't mean to bang them a little bit, but just like Bang and Celsius, right? If you take a look at there's a battle going on there. A lot of that probably Bang had the early majority lead, and now you're seeing Celsius kind of catch on up the energy drink, and there you guys. We'll see what happens. It's definitely all about trying to stay with the trends, right? And right now, the trend has gone away from these seltzers and kind of the beer game. At least for right now, I don't see that being the trade to kind of get us back. But then again, who knows? Maybe we need some more beer in this bear market. We'll see what happens. Let's continue going. Let's go towards the next topic here. Let's get into Walgreens. Walgreens Boots Alliance. So, of course, WBA. You guys can check this out. Look at that downturn there. Definitely, it was trying to come back on up here. And this is one of those reminders, guys, always take a look there and understanding that you have to have your outs. This is how you easily end up holding a bag. If you didn't get out there on the support there of, let's say, 46, now you're holding the 38 bag and continued on the downside. This is why I always state, even if it is a long-term investment, we got to make sure that we stick with our risk assessment. All right, let's go ahead. Let's take a look here. What happened with these Walgreens numbers? Q3 EPS actually beat by EPS was at 96 cents, beating the 92 cent estimate. Sales were at 32.6 billion, beating the 32.606 billion estimate. And Walgreens Boots Alliance maintained full year 2022 adjusted EBITDA guidance of low single digit growth. I think this was one of the things that was being on the eyes of investors and looking to see if there was going to be some continued growth from what's been happening, of course, with Wade v. Roe. But there you guys see it. Walgreens actually taking a decline on these earnings. And we'll see what happens. Like always, smash the like, guys. Looks like we got over 150 people. Let's hit some likes on up. We have to work a little bit more on getting the likes here on Stock Market Movers. It looks like we've been not getting enough likes. So you guys do me the favor. If you guys are appreciating not only getting to the experts, but also touching these headlines in a fast manner, go ahead and hit that thumbs on up. Hit the share button. Let everybody know. If you want to know almost about everything that's going on in the market right now, that's what I try to do with this show. I try to get through all the headlines that you'd see out there so that you guys are kept up on the informational edge. So hit that thumbs on up and let's continue going. Boyle 3X natural gas ETF tanked today, will be higher as it gets closer to wintertime. Demand for LNG in EU with Russian gas ban stay till Putin's out. Jeff Strong, I don't disagree with that topic. Definitely keep your eyes on Boyle on this pullback. One of the things that I always seen about Boyle is that it's very extreme in the moves, right? And a lot of that has to do with the leverage size there that it has. So it's just a little bit dangerous when you're trying to kind of swing that or kind of invest in Boyle. But I understand, and you did see a downturn today. All right, let's continue going here. Walgreens, I'm going to get out of that. I'm going to take a look here. And we can talk about kind of Coinbase. Let's talk about Coin and what are you seeing? I thought we were going to see continued downside action today. I talked about it in on not only pre-market prep, but also on live trading. Let's talk a little bit about that. Coin here reportedly selling immigration and customs enforcement ICE data that aids tracing cryptocurrency transactions. Definitely not something that I want to be hearing if I was dipping my toes in cryptocurrencies. And one of the things that you hear often is that you want to be decentralized, right? You don't want to be kind of treated like these other companies where they just sell your data. And I think that was one of those kind of warning signs here, at least for me, that gives me more and more doubt of Coin. At least in my eyes, I have a lot of doubt in the cryptocurrency markets right now. And I think we're in a deep winter and could see continued downside action come in here. We'll see what happens there. It's tough market right now, especially in the Bitcoin environment. But let's keep it going here. Let's go to Save and the Save saga. That's what I'm going to call it here. You can see here it's pushing on up on the day. nice little pattern here. We'll kind of draw it on up so you guys can see that. You can see here how you're holding this. This is a classic pattern for me. Let's take a look here on the 15-minute. I'll kind of draw it a little bit closer for you so you guys can take a look at this approach here. And one of the things that you're looking for is what? Higher lows, higher lows. We're getting that kind of pattern here. I talk about it all the time, the rule of three: up one, down one, up two, down two, up three, down three. Holds that. As long as they hold support, we're looking for a little breakout here in Spirit Airlines. We'll see if that can continue here. Now, of course, Spirit Airlines on Wednesday postponed a key shareholder vote on the proposed deal from Frontier Holdings. So that might be why you're seeing maybe ULCC down. Let's take a look here. It is down a little bit here. We'll see if this kind of performs. Of course, it's battling with, of course, JetBlue as they continue to raise their takeover price, but battling here. And you can see here on the daily chart, it's kind of going sideways, heading down towards the bottom side right now. The question is, will they step up to the plate even further now that they got that shareholder vote postponed for Frontier Group Holding that was supposed to take place this week? Definitely something to keep on watch. We'll see what happens there in Spirit Airlines. And if Save can save itself, pun intended, we'll see what happens there with Spirit Airlines. It is trying to push on up through that 2350. We drew the pattern. We'll see if that can continue. Like always, guys, make your own investment decisions. This isn't financial advice, only educational purposes only. All right, in a second, we'll be getting into our interview coming on up. Let me know you guys are excited in the chat. Throw some thumbs on up. Let me know if you guys are here for Bakkt Holdings. We'll be getting into that at 1:45 with Gavin Michael, the CEO. Super excited to get into that. Now let's go into some other headlines that are out there. One headline that definitely caught my attention was on Pfizer and BNTX, which was the drug makers signing a $3.2 billion deal. So let's go there towards Pfizer. Not a bad day on that one. I did take a trade on this one to the bullish, but I'm already out on this trade. Nice little trade coming back there from the 5150s. We sold into this 52 move, was looking for the move towards 5230s. Eventually, it's up there to 5260s. A lot of this probably coming on the back of this headline that drug makers signed a $3.2 billion deal with the U.S. government to provide 105 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccine. This also probably affecting BioNTech. Let's take a look there. BNTX. You can see there, boom, nice little takeoff. So definitely this headline moving here, some of the healthcare stocks. And we've been seeing biotech having a good lift lately. I've been calling it out here. We talked about it with Jay Woods yesterday. Also, take a look here at biotech and see some of these capitalizations, these high caps doing well. Even though they pulled back some here, took a little bit of a side action. Amgen, I'm going to keep these on watch. You can see Gilead also coming on back there towards the 9 EMA. You want to look for it to kind of find some bounce, get back up there. And you see it today, getting on that bounce. We'll see if these can continue making move. Regeneron, stocks like that in biotechs have been really strong lately. I'll show you guys the daily chart. You can see here, we pushed on up, had some sideways action, now pushing on back here. We'll see if these can continue making moves as biotech and healthcare overall hasn't done too bad here. We'll see if it can take another leg on up. Of course, PFE now is up 3.16%, so not a bad day there for Pfizer. And also keep on watching Moderna because this one came from the bottom today and just completely bounced there. So not looking too bad there in Moderna, trying to get back above the 150s. That's where I'd want to see it close to show me that it's finding some bottom support here around the 140s. We'll see what happens there. Moderna definitely making moves. And a lot of this, a lot of kind of comments lately, right? The FDA also talked about how we potentially would need to have some new vaccines to kind of continue with the battle on COVID. A lot of that's probably also helping the biotechnology industry. So keep this on your radar, see if there's any more developments or see if the companies themselves start mentioning this, that they're trying to work a maybe new vaccine out in the fall time. I'll keep these on my radar and we'll see what happens, like always. All right, let's go ahead. We're about to get into our interview, but before we do that, I did want to get into the last kind of conversation here, which was on a stock that for a while was very, very hard to kind of take. And I think at least for me, it's still kind of hard to kind of watch, as the demise of NKLA has been definitely trouble. NKLA is actually seeking to raise money now. Let's take a look at this stock as it's come down here. And I still have levels drawn there from 2020 when we were in June of 18 or around there. NKLA is seeking to raise money by issuing new stock, a process that requires shareholder approval. If you guys don't know, on June 1st, NKLA tried to do this with an annual shareholder meeting, but it was abruptly adjourned because the founder and former CEO chairman, Trevor Milton, voted against the proposal. The company has spent the past month trying to rally shareholders here to go ahead and vote for the proposal in sufficient numbers to overcome Milton's no vote. The final vote tally will be announced at NKLA's shareholder meeting as it reconvenes at noon Eastern. So it should have came out. Let me see if we did get an answer to here. I'm just going to check really quickly on my Benzinga Pro. Looks like the meeting adjourned here. Pulling up the headline here straight from Benzinga Pro here. NKLA is adjourned and will reconvene annual meeting of stockholders on July 18 to allow stockholders more time to vote on proposal 2. So it looks like it didn't get through. Approving proposal 2, which requires a majority of all outstanding common stock to pass, is very important, as this morning more than 48% of all outstanding shares have voted in favor of proposal 2, leaving less than 2% of outstanding shares to be voted in favor for this proposal to pass. So it looks like it wasn't passed and pushed back again. Definitely probably not what the investors wanted to see. Of course, the company was trying to get those shareholders to rally past and overcome Milton's no vote, but not being able to pass. And of course, it's coming directly from Benzinga Pro. So if you guys want to stick with that and get those headlines when they hit the tape, I definitely recommend check out Benzinga Pro, pro.benzinga.com for your 2-week free trial. All right, guys, I don't know about you guys. I'm excited to go ahead and definitely jump on into our next interview. Until we do that, I'm going to go ahead and just put a pro commercial here. But up next, we got a great one for you guys. We want to go ahead and touch here an interview with Bakkt Holding CEO Gavin Michael. So stay tuned for that. And of course, smash the like. All right, let's go ahead. Let's play that promo and we'll be back here with Gavin Michael.
Introducing Portfolio Synchronization with your brokerage. Now you can securely connect your brokerage account to Benzinga Pro, opening a world of personalization. Screen lightning fast news just for the stocks you own. Set alerts for news catalysts that affect only the companies you care about. It's all possible with a simple click and a secure protected connection. Overcome uncertainty and connect your portfolio to Benzinga Pro today.
All right, traders, let's go ahead. Let's give a warm welcome here to Gavin Michael here interviewing on Bakkt Holding CEO. Let's go ahead. Let's dive on in. Let's get an understanding more of the business for maybe some investors that don't know the company right now. And like always, one of the things that I'm always about is the story and getting to the story of the company. What's the mission? Where are we trying to get to? And that's exactly why we're reaching out to you, Gavin. So welcome to the show.
Thanks, Mitch. Pleasure to be here, mate.
All right, let's dive on in. I will be showing points here. The presentation, I pulled up the earnings presentation from the recent presentation. So if you guys see some images and you guys want to check this on out also with me, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to throw this up here in the chat so you guys can follow along and we can go ahead and dive right in. All right, first question, of course, is let us know a little bit more about what the mission is of Bakkt Holdings, and then we'll go and touch maybe the Q1 earnings.
Sure. So our goal is to connect the digital economy. You know, we're bringing crypto experiences to the customers of non-native crypto businesses. You know, think about bringing crypto capabilities to local and regional banks or credit unions. working with brands to enable crypto rewards, or even enabling a gig economy worker to get paid a portion of their wages in crypto. And we do this by combining our capabilities with a strong notion about creating loyalty programs and solutions to really help institutions and brands set themselves apart. Our platform spans crypto, loyalty, and payments. It's built for scale, so it's institutional grade, and it's built to drive these unique propositions as we connect the digital economy.
Definitely. Now, one thing, of course, that we want to kind of get to is kind of a more understanding of, right, not only how we can invest in crypto, but how it could actually reward us and we can actually use it for payment, right? I think this is very important. It's one thing that you'll hear a lot of the backfire, right, for crypto is, well, can you use it, right? And I think that's definitely where you guys come on in. So explain a little bit more about Bakkt Crypto Connect and how it can definitely help everybody jump on into this opportunity.
When you hit on a really terrific point. We're all about bringing utility to the crypto economy, to Bitcoin, to ETH. So we self-custody both of those. So we're a full stack provider. So when you look at something like Crypto Connect, it's the ability for us to be able to embed a buy, sell, hold capability in anyone who really wants to offer that to their customers. Now, primarily, that's activated with banks, both those banks that we have direct relationships to, and through our terrific partners like Finestra, Fiserv, MasterCard, Global Payments, who are all working to help us reach into all of the systems of these banks to allow them to get access to a crypto account sitting right next to your savings account, your checking account. This is really important when we think about what a bank is trying to do. The bank wants to be able to attract new customers. They want to appeal to a new demographic. They want to be able to engage their existing customers. They want to be able to provide a halo effect around their brand. And by utilizing Crypto Connect, we're able to put all of these capabilities right in the hand of their customers in an environment that they know and trust and transact into today.
Excellent. Let's talk about the rewards and how that kind of comes into play. It's something that I think that a lot of kind of crypto holders are looking for ways to really get some benefit, right, of actually just holding, right? We hear about mentions of the word hodl and things like that. And what I think that all really comes down to is we're all looking to try to get some benefits on this, some rewards. So how does Bakkt Crypto Rewards really come into play here?
So our research tells us that when consumers hold even a small amount of Bitcoin, they want to continue to receive their rewards in Bitcoin. And so our crypto rewards offering is really one that we're very excited about because it creates a new pathway to ownership. Your ability to be able to earn Bitcoin in your everyday spend by having that spend, those rewards that would normally come back in cash back or come back in points, can actually come back as Bitcoin. You can earn it or you can redeem your points for Bitcoin. And we think this is a great way for people who are maybe on the sidelines and looking to get into the crypto economy, a terrific way for them to build that ownership stake, to start off, to get into the crypto economy. And for those that are already in it, it's their ability to be able to grow their holdings through everyday activities. So crypto rewards is offering that allows us to be able to work with a range of brands or issuers of credit cards to be able to provide this new environment.
All right, now let's get into a little bit of the earnings. How was a Q1? And you can go to it in a little bit of a high level for us. How was the summary of the first quarter in 2022?
So Q1, we saw, as we had anticipated, we came in where we expected. We saw both good growth in the business, both on our top line and in our users and our transacting users. And importantly, we're able to also show that we have the discipline around our cash burn as well, providing that in line with our guidance.
Definitely, I think it's something that you're hearing a lot about. Of course, liquidity concerns in a lot of the crypto space right now. What would you have to say about any liquidity concerns that are out there about Bakkt holdings?
So we're incredibly well capitalized. We finished the first quarter with 355 million of cash on our balance sheet, and we're using that to continue to focus on the plans that are aligned with the vision to connect the digital economy. We're working to build out and activate the partnerships. We're really laser focused on this, and we expect to activate and ramp the partnerships through the back half of this year. We continue to invest in products and capabilities, and we continue building towards our roadmap. And we shared more details about our roadmap through our earnings calls, and deepen the relationships that we have with existing partners. We're actively working to bring the breadth of our entire platform and capabilities to existing partners, and we're working with them every day to find new solutions to their pain points that utilize the offerings we take to market.
Now, one thing that we did see in kind of the recent boom of crypto is we started seeing more and more people asking to get paid, right? In crypto, we saw athletes taking a step up. We saw a lot of people trying to say, no, I don't want to get paid in USD. I want to get paid in BTC. So tell us how you guys can help here and how that really is kind of working. Expand also what we're going to see more of coming forward.
So we have an offering called Crypto Payout, which is the ability for people to get paid in crypto, as you said. We see great traction in the market with this across a range of use cases, whether it's the gig economy, the sharing economy, people working in the creator economy, or even conventional payroll companies who are all wanting to be able to provide that optionality. For a couple of reasons. Firstly, it provides a differentiator for them. So when people are looking at it as an employee or looking for their next side hustle, if they're able to provide a differentiator in the way in which people get paid, it makes them more attractive to a emerging segment in our society. The other thing it's allowing us to do is to be able to really, again, encourage this passive acquisition of crypto. So by getting paid in crypto, it's another way to be able to build a stake that can be used further down the track. So we've announced Bring Me That, gig economy platform out of the Midwest, restaurant delivery services, where their drivers will be able to get paid in crypto, as well as Latro, which is an enterprise creator economy platform, which is allowing these creators to elect to get paid a portion of what they're owed in crypto. We're really excited by this. Again, it comes to that theme of connecting the digital economy, providing utility of crypto in everyday lives, whether it's earning it through a rewards proposition or earning it through a payout.
Excellent. Something that I'll definitely kind of keep watching how that progresses. Now, what should we keep in mind going into 2023? What should we keep on watch to watch the company progress? And is there anything that you're super excited about in the roadmap coming up?
So, our focus, as I said, is using the capital that we've raised to be able to really build out and activate our partnerships. So the sorts of things that we expect to be able to show through the course of this year and then as we enter 2023 is a growing user base, a growing set of utilization of the offerings that we have in the market. As well as that, we're investing in our products and capabilities. We've announced that our wallet is to go open loop. We're very excited about that. It's an ability for us to be able to provide greater reach of what we're doing. We're bringing on additional coins to again provide optionality to our partners. Not several hundred, several new coins where people want to again be able to differentiate themselves. We continue to invest in our rewards propositions. We continue to invest in our payments and payout capabilities, including the introduction of real-time funding onto the platform. So as we continue to mature the crypto side of the business, we get excited because we're finding more opportunities for us to be able to engage with our partners. And we're in a state of volatility. We know that. And we think that this is a great opportunity where people are able to invest through the cycle to be able to take advantage of what is there. And we see this as a great opportunity for us to be able to really accelerate the leverage that we have given our platforms into the marketplace.
Definitely, I agree. It's something to keep on watch. There's a big opportunity, and like everything, they do have cycles, something to keep on watch. Appreciate you coming on here. Interview with Bakkt Holdings CEO Gavin Michael. You guys can check this out. New York Stock Exchange, BKKT, and we'll definitely have you back on, Gavin. Appreciate you coming on.
Terrific. Look forward to it. Thanks, Mitch.
All right, I'm going to have to talk to my CEO myself, Jason Raznick, looking like I need to get a little bit of some payment in crypto. We definitely wouldn't be mad about it. So we'll see what happens. Like always, guys, we want to continue watching how the company progresses. Take a look at that roadmap. We'll take a look at the second half in 2022 and see how they continue to meet expectations. All right, let's go ahead. Let's move out of that. We're going to go ahead and wrap on up in about 2 minutes here. Like always, we try to get through all the headlines. We've already gotten through all the headlines today. So I'm going to take a quick second to maybe take a look at some of the travel stocks. But if you guys got something you want to take a look at, throw it up in the chat and I'll cover it before we get on out of here. Like always, Stock Market Movers is about keeping you guys in the informational edge and trying to get to all the headlines that are out there. And of course, 2 experts a day. Today, we went through a company, Bakkt Holdings here, CEO joining us. We also had Option Mike. He gave us some great insight on seeing that, hey, we're starting to see some of that energy trade come off, which could potentially be showing us inflation topping out, something to also keep in mind. He gave some strategy talk. So if you missed that and you're a big options trader, I would hit the rewind button and catch Option Mike. But let's go ahead. Let's take a quick look out there. Just want to get my screen back on up here with my trading screen. Let's take a look at the overall market, see how we're trading now. We took a look here at the open. Now we're starting to decline. Let's see where we're at here. Looks like we pushed up a little bit there. We're fighting here around the 380s. Haven't really closed up there for a while. We have a couple of wicks here. You saw 380.09 here. We'll see if that can continue on through the 380s and continue pushing on up on the day. Let me take a look here at some travel stock like Carnival. It's bouncing back a little bit. Got down to as low as where we got to, 815. If you look to the left, you'll probably also see that it got pretty close to that pandemic low. What do we got the pandemic low at? We have a wick down to 780, and you have a close there at 849. It got down there. So I don't think anyone thought the cruise lines would get back down here. Just shows concern out there, and we'll see what happens in trading overall. All right, catching up with the chat. I see LNG being mentioned in there, of course, natural gas. Let's take a look here. LNG has been really ripping here in 2021. I remember this was one that I was taking a look at, and look where we come from. 58 up there to 132. We're talking about 133%. What does this show me? It just shows me you have to know what kind of market environment you're in. For a long time there, it was kind of, I think it's simple play to look at natural gas as to get some of that asset appreciation. Of course, a lot of this coming from the Russian-Ukraine situation. But this was a great trade to catch there. And I hope that some of the traders made their money on here. Now, the question is, when does the trade kind of turn around, right? And how much more legs does this trade have? I think keep that in mind, because like it said out there, they call Boyle the widowmaker. There's a reason why. It's that when commodities finally turn around, they get hit hard, right? And so one of the things that I would say now is I'm keeping on look to see what happens here in the commodity space. But I do think we're starting to get towards that topping action. Could we still see a nice push? Yeah, I do think that we could get like one more push, maybe even 2. But we're starting to get to that point where I see a slowdown there. So we'll keep watching. I think we eventually maybe even get through, let's say, like 150 on LNG. But from that point, how much further do we have to go? Are we going to get to 200? I don't see that right now. But like always, make your own investment advice, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Stay here on Benzinga. Up next, you guys will have none other than the roadmap. So stick tuned for the roadmap. Actually, I want to go ahead and make sure that we got the roadmap set on up there. Looks like we do. Looks like we're going to get into a replay of the 10 NFTs to buy in a bear market. So if you want to go ahead and check out some NFT action, go on over to the roadmap. Looks topsy, says Jonathan on that LNG. We'll see what happens. Like always, smash the thumbs on up if you guys enjoyed today's show. Getting to an expert, getting to a company, and a lot of headlines. We touched a lot today. If you guys missed it or just joining on up, we went through a lot of topics today. We touched, of course, we touched CPE, we touched jobless claims, Chicago PMI, STZ, Walgreens, Save, Saga, Pfizer, Healthcare, NKLA, and of course, back at the end. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. I'll see you guys at the close. That's going to be at 3:30 with, of course, Joel Alconen. I'll see you guys there. And how'd I look today, guys? Let me know. Am I looking clean? I'm trying to work on it. I saw someone mention about my button. I tried to loosen it up here, so I look a little bit better. I appreciate you guys giving me the feedback. Let me know what you guys are liking on Stock Market Movers, because I'm going to work hard to make this show the best show on Benzinga. I might have to compete with Pre-Market Prep, but I'm in there. I'm in for the battle. We'll see you guys.